Hey everybody, welcome to this Mandolin Beginner's Guide. It's all about making some noise in the instrument. 3 things that you need to know. So what are those 3 things? Well, what kind of pick should you use? How do you hold the thing? And then how do you attack the strings to make some noise? Alright, so what kind of pick should you use on your mandolin? Well, before you pick your pick, one thing to consider about the mandolin is when you pick a single string or a course, that's 2 strings at the same time, and they're under quite high tension. So you may be tempted to use a thin pick, but in reality, when I kind of get down to showing you what's going on, you're going to want to use a thicker pick. I highly recommend that. So I would recommend anything at least 1 millimeter thicker. You don't have to go too ridiculous, like that's a 2 millimeter thick pick. That's pretty thick. But anyhow, as you can see, I have a wide variety spread out for us right here. I have large triangular ones. I've got kind of the regular shaped picks that you're kind of used to seeing, and some really, really small ones. Now, right off the bat, I would not even bother with the small ones. You can try them at your own discretion later, but I think you'll find that'd be way more trouble than it's worth. Now, what do I use? Personally, I use the large triangular ones. Because of the way that we hold the pick, and we'll get to that in a few minutes, it kind of works really well. Does that mean you can't use the regular ones? Not at all. Lots of people use these, and I recommend that you try a wide variety of picks. However, remember to keep them on the thicker side. All right, so here's how I hold my pick. It looks like this, and I'm just going to kind of deconstruct it. It's really pretty simple. All I'm doing is with my first finger here is I'm just crooking it like this, not super tight, but just kind of around like so, placing the pick on top, actually the majority of the pick, and then just putting my thumb on top like that. Okay? And what's going on is I have lots of support underneath and above, and I can also use those fingers underneath to kind of give a little bit of extra support. I don't have to do that. I can keep them out or just kind of loose, but sometimes that's a real nice thing to do it like that. Now the same goes, of course, for a regular sized guitar pick, just like that. All right, so I want to get on to talking about how to attack or play on the strings themselves, but just before we do, I just wanted to ask if you would mind please liking and subscribing. That really helps me out, and just want to say thanks in advance. All right, let's get on to it. Now, when you're holding the mandolin in a seated position, it is on a bit of an angle like this, of course. One thing you definitely don't want to do is to try to match that angle with your pick, so it's meeting it flat on. You want to keep your wrist and your arm kind of in a normal, neutral position. So you are meeting the string on a bit of an angle. So on the mandolin, when you pick 2 strings at the same time. Now the technical name for that is a course. And when you do, you want to make sure that, well, you pick them both at the same time. Now, doing this kind of thing, if you go too slow, you get kind of this weird disjointed sound. So make sure that you use a little bit of force and speed to execute the picking of both strings at the same time. Now that goes for both downstrokes and upstrokes. And one of the main techniques in mandolin picking is what's known as alternate picking, which is when you do a succession of down and upstrokes all in a row. We have this thing known as tremolo picking, or just regular picking in general. You want to try to make sure you use down and upstrokes. All right, so there you go. 3 really important things to know to make noise on this instrument. I hope that helps, and we'll see you next time. I'm Sean.